Jai Hind all. I am Dr. Archita Bhatnagar, Associate Professor, CSE Department, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, SVSU, Meerut. So, we'll be discussing about data mining today. These are the topics which we'll discuss: basic terminologies, data mining, knowledge discovery process, data mining preparation, and architecture of data mining. So, the first and foremost question arises in our mind when we talk about data mining is that what is data and why is it required to mine that data. So these are two words. This is the combination of two words, data and mining. So we will be discussing all these topics. So first is data. It is the raw material, like we use if we are making anything, we use certain kind of raw materials. So if we are talking about any information or any knowledge, so the raw material in that case is data. But this does not have any meaning. For example, 355 degrees Celsius, kilograms, these words do not have such a meaning within themselves. So if we give this data a meaning, then it becomes information. So what is information? If the data has some meaning, it becomes information. For example, 3 degrees Celsius, the examples which we talked about in our this topic, data, 3 degrees Celsius, this becomes information. 55 kilograms, this becomes an information. So this is data. If we talk about individual, this is data 3, this is data degrees Celsius. Then we talk about knowledge. The manual capability, if we imbibe into our information, it becomes knowledge. For example, 54 kilograms is the weight of any person. So this is the knowledge which we are giving in terms of information when we give any capability, manual capability to the information. And the wisdom, when we give it a positive meaning, the knowledge has some positive meaning, that becomes wisdom. For example, 55 kilograms is the weight of person was knowledge, is the ideal weight of a person is the wisdom. So what is the hierarchy we follow? This is data, information, knowledge and wisdom. Then we talk about data mining, which is the most important and most talked about topic. So data mining is to extract something from a large amount of database. Means a larger database, we have to fetch something or we have to extract something. So for example, if we talk about the coal mining, there is a mine, like a whole database, a whole collection of coal. There are some certain gases, there are certain diamonds. So if we want to mine the diamond, we have to put into that whole mine. So mining is something extracting anything from a bigger database. So data mining is to fetch the data from a bigger mine. It is also known as knowledge mining. It can be also known as knowledge extraction, data dragging. And what is it used for? It can be used for market analysis, for the fraud detection, scientific exploration, customer retention, social media, entertainment, diagnosis and monitoring, etc. Now we have to find out the knowledge from this raw data. So we have this collection of data. This is raw in nature. This does not have any meaning. This does not have any manual capability. It does not have any wisdom. So we have to find out the knowledge from our raw data. So we have to put in some steps to get to that knowledge. So these are the steps. First is we have to select the target data, because in the mine we have lots and lots of data. So we have to select what data we have to see as a knowledge. Then this is our target data after selection. Then we have to do the pre-processing of that data. The selected data, we have to do the pre-processing data. Then we get pre-processed data. Then on this pre-processed data, we have to put some transformations, and then we get transformed data. Then on that transformed data, we have to put some data mining algorithms and we get the patterns. When we get the patterns, we have to evaluate those patterns and we have to fetch the patterns from this particular data, and that refined data becomes knowledge. So these are the steps which we follow for getting the knowledge from this raw kind of data. This is the preparation which we have to go through while we are doing data mining. These are the steps. First is data mining pre-processing, data transformation, data mining and pattern evaluation. These are almost those steps which we have learnt into last slide. This is the flow chart, or we can say a diagrammatic representation in which we will follow all these steps which we have discussed in the last slide. That is pre-processing the data. Before mining, we have to pre-process that data, we have to transform that data, then data mining can be applied, and then we find the patterns and evaluate those patterns. Data pre-processing has 4 steps. First is data cleaning, second is data integration, selection and enrichment. Data cleaning has 3 techniques. First is missing values. We remove these missing values, we remove the noisy data, and we remove the inconsistent data. Then data transformation has 2 techniques. First is reduction and second is compression. Reduction, there are 4 techniques. First is data cube aggregation, dimensionality reduction, numerosity reduction, and discretization and hierarchy generation. And in data compression, there are 2 techniques: lossless data compression and lossy data compression. Then data mining is done, and then we evaluate the patterns and find out the knowledge and represent that knowledge into some pattern. So first we will discuss this part, that is data pre-processing. Data pre-processing has 4 steps like we discussed in last slide. That is data cleaning, integration, selection and enrichment. Data cleaning, these are the 5 phases of data cleaning. First, we have to analyze that data. Whatever the data we have in our system or with us to clean, we have to analyze that particular data first. Then we define the transformation rules. Then we verify those transformation rules, and we verify that the rules which we have defined can be applied on that particular analyzed data or not. Then we put the transformation, and then the backflow of clean data is done. These are the methods of data cleaning as we discussed. First is missing values. To remove or to handle that missing values, we can ignore the tuples. Tuples is any row which has any value missing. It can be missing by human error or any computer error. Anything means this can be done if we ignore that particular tuple. We can also fill the values manually if we know that what value should be there or what value can be included. We can fill those values manually. Then we can use the global constant such as infinity, NA, we can put anything whichever can be done. Then noisy data. We all know that the data which has different kind of data into that particular database is considered to be noise. Whatever the data is, that data which is considered as noise here can be important for any other database, and this data which is important for us in this our database can be noise, can be considered as noise in others database. So to handle this noisy data, we can do binning. Binning is done by partitioning the data using equal distance partitioning method or equal frequency partitioning method. So we put some bins, like we are not physically putting that bins, but we assume that we are partitioning that particular data into some bins using distance or frequency method. Clustering. any similar kind of data is called as clusters. So we can divide that data into similar clusters. For example, we have fruits, different kinds of fruits, and we want to cluster them. We can cluster them on basis of their type, we can cluster them on basis of their color, we can cluster them on basis of their growth, anything. So similar characteristics we can see, and we can cluster that particular data also. Then inconsistent data, if any discrepancy comes in that particular data, it can be known as inconsistent data. So to remove that discrepancy or to remove that inconsistent data, we have to use certain methods. Then data cleaning is done. After that, second step of pre-processing is data integration. So we combine multiple data sources into one and make it a combination of data. So we are integrating that particular data. Then third step in pre-processing is data selection. So we have to select that particular data. So first we have to locate the data, that where is that data stored, and then we identify the data, that what kind of data or what data can be used or can be selected. So first is locating the data and identifying the data. And the fourth step of pre-processing is data enrichment. So we have to enrichment is we have to nourish anything. So likewise, when we are talking about data enrichment, we have to nourish that data. So how can we nourish that data? By adding some fields like calculated fields or data from external sources. That is why it is also known as the combination of internal sources and external sources. Now this is the second part. First part we have discussed, that is pre-processing, everything we have discussed. Now the second part is data transformation. We have two techniques, data reduction and data compression. And in data reduction we have these techniques. So we will discuss this part. Data transformation, first we will discuss the steps of transformation, then data reduction and then compression. Step 1, while we are doing the transformation of data, is to smoothen the data. Like whatever noise was there, we have cleaned it in data cleaning part, but certain noise remain in that data, so we have to remove that data and make it a smooth data. So this is the step 1. Step 2 is aggregation of data. So we summarize that data, whatever the data we have got after pre-processing of the data, means after cleaning, after integration, after selection and after enrichment of data, whatever we have got, we summarize that data. So step 2 is aggregation of that data. Then step 3 is generalization of data. Generalization is a concept in which we talk about general features of anything. For example, a generalized form is fruit, but specialized form is apple. So apple can be fruit, but all fruits cannot be apple. So generalized data we have to make. So we take step 3 as generalization. Means we do not specialize any data, we are just talking about generalized data. Then normalization, the part which we have already studied in database management system, DBMS. So that same normalization is there, 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, BCNF. So these are the normalization techniques which we have to follow for transformation. And attribute construction. The attributes, whatever attribute we need in that particular data, like for example for mark sheet we need name, father's name, marks of particular subjects, average, percentage. These are the attributes which we want. So we have to construct those attributes depending on what we are going to make. Then data reduction, the first technique for transformation of data. Data cube aggregation. We have to construct a data cube. We have seen a game, that cube which has certain colors, and we have to match that. Similar is this data cube in which the data is stored in multiple layers. So we have to create that. So by merging the dispersed data, by merging different squares of data, we make a cube. A cube is made by merging different squares. Similarly, we are merging the dispersed data into one. And multiple storage is used for summarizing the data. So we have to use a cube, multiple storage, layered storage, and we merge the dispersed data into one. Second technique is dimensionality reduction. Dimensions of data. We reduce that data into by looking into the dimensions of that data. How is it done? By stepwise forward selection. Like we are not considering the whole data. We are just moving stepwise, and whatever data or whatever dimension we need, we are selecting that and we are ignoring the rest. So we are selecting by moving forward, stepwise forward selection. Or it can be done opposite, stepwise backward limitation. We consider the whole database and then we remove the data which we do not need in that particular database or in that particular application. So these are the two steps or two techniques which can be used for dimensionality reduction. First is forward selection and second is backward limitation. Third technique for data reduction is numerosity reduction. In this, we are not considering the data into written format. We are representing that data in diagrammatic form or graphical form. So what are the types which we can use? These are histograms and pie charts. Everybody knows that what are histograms, what are pie charts. We can do clustering of that particular data. We can do sampling of that particular data, like we just consider the samples of data and not whole of the database. So that is why we are reducing that database in form of numbers, numerosity reduction. And the fourth technique of reduction is data reduction is discretization and concept hierarchy generation. So we divide our data into intervals of particular ranges. For example, 1 to 100, 101 to 1000. So these are the particular ranges in which we divide that particular data, and then that data can be used. And then partitioning of data in hierarchical form. We see that what hierarchy is being followed for that particular data. So we divide or we partition the data into that particular hierarchy. Then comes the data compression. We have to compress the data. Like you must have seen that when you forward any picture on WhatsApp, that picture is blurred. What picture you have is very clear, and what picture you shared with somebody is blurred. Why? Because there is some loss during the sending of that data. So that loss is known as compression. It is not exactly loss. Compression means we are reducing or we are compressing the image pixels. That is why its clarity or its standard was compromised. Okay. So likewise, similarly, data compression is done in order to make it compact, the data compact. How can it be done? Technique 1 is lossless compression and technique 2 is lossy compression. Technique 2, you might be thinking that why we have to use technique 2 when we are this is a known fact that it will be lossy. Sometimes in some cases we cannot apply lossless compression and we lose some data by anyhow. So this compression is already imbibed into that data compression. So lossless compression is there is no compromise with the standard of data, with the quality of data, and in lossy compression there is some compromise. So this is the part which we have seen just now, data transformation. Now we'll go for data mining. These are the 7 components of data mining: database, data warehouse, data mining and data warehouse server, data mining engine, pattern evaluation, graphical interface, and knowledge base. These are the 7 components which are included in the architecture of data mining. This is a pictorial representation of what we'll see. This is the data mining process, whole data mining process. This is database, this is data warehouse, DMDW server, DM engine. This is the pattern evaluation, graphical interface, and knowledge base. DB, database, we know that a combination or a collection of data with similar kind of characteristics. Data warehouse is a larger picture of database, much larger. It is a collection of huge number of data of similar kind, of different kind also. So we consider both in this, and this the data from database as well as from data warehouse goes to the servers, that is data mining and data warehousing server. These servers these servers handle that particular data, polish that data, and provide it to data mining engine. This data mining engine again refines that particular data which has been given to that by the servers, and put the knowledge base, the information which is given by the knowledge base, it merges that particular information with the knowledge or with the data, and then passes to the pattern evaluation. This part, pattern evaluation part, evaluates the knowledge and make patterns out of that particular knowledge, and those patterns are being shown on the graphical interface. The graphical interface is the interface between user and the system. This is the whole system which is providing the particular mined data to us, and it is showing on the graphical interface. So this is how the data mining works, and this is the particular architecture of data mining. And lastly, we'll see the pattern evaluation and knowledge representation. Pattern evaluation is to identify the patterns of particular data or particular knowledge which has different patterns. And knowledge representation is the visualization of that particular data which is mined, and the knowledge which is brought by the data mining process, and it shows to the users. So this is the representation of knowledge, and this is the evaluation of patterns. So this was all about the data mining part, and this is the whole pre-processing or data, how the data can be processed. Jai Hind.